McKenna 在吗？
我觉得他在进入，他还
他还没进，好 ，OK， 所以现在我们就是 live，OK， fine. So, guys, welcome to our today's YouTube live. My name is Faith 老师. I know you're used to seeing Augustus 老师. And where I am, it's cold. It's cold. And don't ask me where I live, but yeah, it's cold here. However, I'm very excited to join into this YouTube live. And I'll be requesting Augustus Lauscher to say hi. Please, Augustus Lauscher, say hi.
大家好，欢迎来到 Discovery Chinese class. Today, 我也是学生. I'm also a student today, and I'm very excited, by the way, to go back to my original. This is my teacher. The one, all these things you see me doing and saying, it's the work of her hands. So I'm glad to be back here.
Okay, not really, not really the work of my hands. But that phrase is weird.
It's the work of her hands, so even if you hear me saying Mazogodanios, if you hear me saying the right thing, it's her. So all the good and all the bad is all her.
Okay, I can own the good, but the bad, no, not me. Anyway, so anyway, guys, today we have also some of our students. As always, we join this live with some of our students. We've got Fidelis. I'm sure, Fidelis, I think you are still at work, but can you say hi? Is it okay you say hi to our audience, including our YouTube audience, even if you're not on video, but you can say hi? Fidelis Nidzaima. Okay, as we wait for Fidelis to come back, McKenna, would you kindly say hi? Ni hao.
Ni men hao.
Ni hao, McKenna.
Good to join you today.
Thank you, Sheshe McKenna. I also believe you'll get encouraged on our lesson today. So I think, guys, Fidelis is still at work, but it's okay. She's still among us, and we are expecting some of our students, other students. So yeah, we will go ahead with our topic for today. I don't know whether to call it a topic. I'm not even sure whether this is a topic really, but it is a topic because we hope that it's going to encourage you today, that it's going to encourage you in your journey of Chinese language. First of all, guys, we want to thank you so much for all of you who have subscribed to our YouTube channel. It's been a journey as we closed the year 2021. And so many of you have subscribed to our channel, meaning that you love how we teach you, you love the Chinese language that we use, and you get encouraged. Others are, some of you are our students, have passed us in one way or another. And so we really thank you. And we continue to request you to continue liking our videos, as well as showing other people our channel, so that they can also sharing our channel so that they can also benefit. What would you say, Augustus Lauscher?
I agree with you 100%.
How? So today, basically, guys, I'm going to be sharing with you my 5 hacks to Chinese fluency. Well, I'm saying to Chinese fluency that is towards near native fluency. I'm not saying I'm a Chinese, neither am I saying that I'm 100% like my Chinese language is 100% like that of a Chinese person. That's why I'm calling it near native fluency. And I'm not also like showing off my Chinese. I just want to show you some of the tips that have practically worked out for me, which I believe if you are a beginner, like you're beginning your Chinese language now, for those of our students who are new, they joined in this January, I want to encourage you and tell you can do it until you get to that point of near native fluency, if not if not being a native per se in your language. The other thing is that there are those of us who have been continuing to learn. They have come from level 1, they've gone to level 2, or they're joining level 2 and moving to, and then move to level 3, and so on and so forth. So how can we achieve how can we achieve a near native fluency? So I'll be giving you my practical things that I do, and I'll only be pointing out at 5 of them so that you can choose to use them. I would love you to choose and see if they will work for you. And I do believe they can work for you. So before I give you my 5 hacks, I want to briefly just give you a story of myself. Yeah, that is how we're going to do our YouTube live today. So I want just to let you know that I began learning Chinese in the year 2008. It's a long time, or not a long time. By that time, this is when Chinese was beginning in Kenya, and really not many people were even aware of it. Now, the story of how I came to fall in love with Chinese is of another day. But what I want to tell is that in 2008, in the year 2008, I started learning Chinese with a certain teacher who had come from from China, and he taught me Chinese for 3 months. So after the 3 months, I could say words like ni hao. Now everyone here, I'm sure, knows ni hao is hello. Could be able to say ni hao ma, and I would reply wo hen hao, guys, because we say ni hao ma is how are you, wo hen hao, I'm very fine. I could be able also to say zao shang hao, which is good morning. And then let me see if some of my students can remember some of these. I could also be able to say xia wu hao. McKenna, what does xia wu hao mean? McKenna, can you remember? Oh, Fidelis, yeah, it's okay, you've unmuted. Fidelis, what is xia wu hao?
I think it means good afternoon.
对，非常好, Fidelis. Yes. So at the end of the 3 months, I could be able to say 下午好, which is good afternoon. I could also be able to describe my family, my big family where I come from. 我家有5口人. My family has 5 people. I could say 谢谢, thank you, and 不客气, you're welcome. These are some of the words I could clearly be able to say after I had finished my 3 months learning in the year 2008. But guess what, guys? After these 3 months, I quit continuing with Chinese, and I went ahead and I was employed as a teacher of English. Why? Because my undergraduate is Bachelor of Education in English and Literature. So I went ahead and I was employed by the Teacher Service Commission as a teacher of English in a high school. And it completely looked like my journey for Chinese had ended. But little did I know, the high school that I went to teach is where like everything else would get reignited. So I got in the year 2009, which I had just taught in this high school for a period of about 6 months. I hear this opportunity coming from Kenyatta University. And then I decided to take the opportunity. Now, what was the opportunity? So first of all, actually the way the opportunity came was they needed a Mandarin teacher. They needed a Mandarin Chinese teacher. Now look at Faith. I only have 3 months of Chinese language. So who do I teach? Even how can you teach in a university like that? So at that point is when I decided I will go and find out more about this and what or how can I take it up. So when I went, I was told because my Chinese was not equal to teaching at that time, we would be given a scholarship. And we got a scholarship. We were 5 of us who got this scholarship. That's why, guys, it's always good to be ready with something because they were giving scholarships for who had at least something. Even if it was ni hao ma, xie xie. You remember those were the words I only knew after 2008. So with that little, I remember the then Vice Chancellor, Olive Mugenda, said, these ones are the ones whom we are going to apply for this scholarship. We went with a friend of mine, actually, she's called Dora. We were the 2 ladies, and we were actually the first 2 ladies in the university where we went who were African to start doing this scholarship. So we entered this university in China called Shandong Shifan Daxue, Shandong Teacher University. It's like it's actually a teacher's university. So we get into this university, the 2 African girls, because the others were not African, the other foreigners were not Africans, and we begin our studies. And trust me, guys, studies were not easy, especially the first term. And this sometimes makes me feel a little emotional because the first term, I literally used to cry. I literally used to tell my dad, to tell my parents that, like I really want to go back. Like I was wondering, why did I quit my English teacher job? I mean, I was almost starting to earn money. Actually, by the way, guys, I haven't told you that by the time I was getting my scholarship that year in 2009, I had just gotten my boom. Now, let me tell you what is this boom. When you get employed at the Teacher Service Commission, I don't know whether it happens today, you stay 3 months, like you literally live 3 months without getting your salary because you're kind of on probation and they're preparing your documents. Then I had just got my boom, and I remember my mom had taken me to the TSC office to pick the boom. I don't know why it never used to pass the bank. I can't recall, but we went with my mom to a Kiambu office and I picked my boom. So I've reached my house in Nyeri because I used to teach in a school in Karatina, that is near Nyeri. And you know how it feels when you've gotten your first money. I bought sofas, I bought a big TV, which is actually my mom who helped me. Guys, so I had just gotten this boom. And then I'm telling the Teacher Service Commission that I'm quitting just 2 months after I've gotten my boom. I'm quitting to move to China. And nobody can understand me at that point. So I get to China, like I've told you, in this university, and studies are tough. They are really tough. You guys who study here in Kenya, you think studies are tough till you get to China and you see the real thing. Because when you're learning, especially from a native who does not know English, you're trying to think, so what does this sentence mean? And there's nobody to explain to you. It gets even tougher. Sometimes we would enter a Tingli lesson. Tingli, guys, for those of you who know Tingli, remember, is listening. So we would get into this Tingli lesson, and I remember my teacher till today. She would run the audio, and then when the class ends, I'm like, what happened in that audio? What was the meaning of the audio? I would go back to my room and cry again. I know you're wondering, Connie, what was wrong with me? Everything was wrong with me because I couldn't understand the Chinese. The first 3 months were tough, and then there were all these cultural shocks. The culture shock and also the weather. You know, in Kenya, we don't have winter now. We are in winter in China. So many things. But you know what, guys? At one point, actually, as I was about to call my dad and tell him to book for me a ticket back to Kenya and go back to TSC, because at least TSC had not yet completely revoked my employment. So I would still go back and tell them, I'm sorry, I decided to quit. I can't go back, I'll go back and never again will I quit. Then my friend, the lady friend we were with, she was of so much encouragement. And I'm going to be telling you this in my 5 hacks, because in the 5 hacks, you need to have people who are encouraging you in this language. So she encouraged me, and I decided I'm not quitting. I'm not going back to Kenya. I'm sitting and continuing. So after that, things started becoming much more relaxed. I started hearing more what the Chinese teachers are saying. I started doing well, and everything started getting better, you know. And guys, by the way, when we were coming back to Kenya, I was actually the best student in our class. So I had become the first position after all those crazy things in China. But anyway, guys, life has to come back. Life has to return back to its normal. I came back to Kenya. And when I came back to Kenya, I only stayed 1 month, which I'd call it a relaxing month. And then I got an opportunity at the same university that had given me a scholarship, which was Kenyatta University. So I started teaching in Kenyatta University in the first semester of 2010, which was around September. This was a big opportunity for me. It's something that I forever thank God for till today. And till today, we are in a very, very good partnership with Kenyatta University Confucius Institute, because I feel I owe them all the time. I feel even though I stayed there for 6 years and taught there, I still feel till today that I'm part of it. First of all, I'm an alumni of KU by the fact that I did my undergraduate there. And then also I taught there, and I loved my students. I loved to see my students grow from point A to B. We used to have big classes. I remember one of my classes would have like 120 students, and it's in this theater hall. And I would teach. I'm here in front, I'm looking so small and short. And then I would run up to the last student, the 120 student up there, to see if they're understanding. And this was such a very nice opportunity to teach there. By the way, something I didn't tell you. By the time I was coming back, I was a HSK3 student. Those who've done Chinese know what HSK3 means. It's actually about 600 vocabulary, or to the utmost, let's say you've gone up to 1,000. And this is how I began to teach. So those who are HSK3 students, I think Augustus Lau should also, you know that HSK3 is such a big thing because you also started working at that particular level, isn't it? What would you encourage people even with this?
I would say you can achieve anything by level 3, because I also, I believe it's Miss Faith who had like faith in me, but I did not have faith in myself by the time I was finishing level 3. But here I am now. So you can actually get your first job by level 3. You can actually get it by level 3.
It's true. It's true. That's true. So I began teaching at this level. But of course, I had to promise my employers that I'll keep climbing, because as a teacher, indeed, you have to keep climbing. And this I did. So that is a little of my journey up to the working. But let me just tell you before I get to my 5 hacks. Remember, guys, today we are looking at my 5 hacks to how I've gained my near native Chinese fluency. So I've told you that I got to work in KU, and I worked there for 6 years because I retired from KU around December 2016, true. And so like I've told you again, lots of experience from there, lots of experience from setting and evaluating exams. KU actually took me through big training on setting and evaluation of Chinese language exams, moderating of exams, teacher training, because they used to give me opportunities to also train my fellow teachers. So I gained a lot of experience on teacher training. And I also climbed up to HSK level 5 while I was still there. I also, through them, went back to China for a period of time to do what? I went back to China for a period of time to do teacher training, to be taught how to teach in high school, to be taught how to teach in primary school, to be taught how to teach in the university. My goodness, Kenyatta University did such a splendid job in my life because I gained lots and lots of experience. So I always feel, guys, like when you get employed somewhere, it doesn't have to be in a Chinese place. It's good to stay there for some time. It's not good to keep hopping, because even other employers don't like to see you hopping. You know, they want to see stability, because they know when you're stable in a place, you gain a lot of experience. And so that was my experience in KU, Kenyatta University Confucius Institute. Apart from teaching, like I've told you, gained experience in setting and evaluating exams, training of children, primary school and high school, because they took me back to China to do those trainings. But apart from that, guys, I've also had an opportunity to teach at Pioneer University for about 3 years. That also has given me a lot of experience in teaching adults and adults here from teenagers and going up. So I've also taught at the School of the Nations for, again, about 3 years. Here, I was teaching children, because remember, guys, I had also been trained to be a teacher of primary school. So the School of the Nation is an international curriculum, IGCSE, which I taught there. Yeah, I would teach from year 2s. These are literally how many? They are 6-year-olds up to year 9, who are about 11 years old. From there, I got experience of the IGCSE curriculum, such that I can be able to teach. I can train the children in the IGCSE curriculum. As well, I also taught at the International School of Kenya. It's also an IGCSE curriculum, and it's one of the best international schools in Kenya. I also taught at Life Reformation Center. And besides these guys, then I also opened Discovery Chinese Cultural Center in the year 2011, still as I was in Kenyatta University. As a disclaimer, by the way, the then professor who was my director at the Kenyatta University Confucius Institute encouraged me a lot when I opened Discovery Chinese Cultural Center. He told me, go ahead, and these are two places that are almost of common interest, or their interests are the same. And he encouraged me to go ahead. So this is also another plus of what I received from Kenyatta University. Apart from teaching, guys, but you can see teaching is my major, and I've gained lots and lots of experience since 2010. When I began teaching Chinese. Remember, I had also begun teaching earlier on as a teacher of English, but I've also gained experience in interpretation and translation. I've had to work as hustles. I've hustled at the courts, some of them paying and others refusing to pay me. That's a story of another day. I have done interpretation in conferences. I've done tour guiding, yes. I've picked tourists from, I don't know where, to Masai Mara, Mombasa. I've done tour guiding. I've done market guiding. But then what is market guiding? I guess, do you have an idea what this is? Market guiding or market guide? An idea?
Never even heard of it.
Now let me tell you what is this, so that you can see I've hustled. Market guide is like a Chinese comes in Kenya and they want to establish a shop in Luthuli Avenue. So you hold them by the hand, you move from shop to shop in Luthuli Avenue, looking for a vacant shop where they will put business. Other Chinese would do this. They want to partner with the Kenyan and they want to bring like TVs. So you move in the TV shops in Luthuli Avenue, asking them, are you going to accept TVs from this Chinese? Another one is, at one point, I also had a Chinese in Mombasa who was shopping for lobsters. This was crazy. We would drive from Mombasa, we would go to Malindi, we would go to the farmers inside in the village, looking for the farmers who have lobsters. Then we would take contracts with them because they would need the lobsters to be taken to China. So this is what, I don't know, maybe it has another name, but this is what for me I call market guide. I've done that. And then besides this, I've translated documents, and I still do translation till today. I'm not doing a lot of interpretation today, but I can do it. I can do all this. So this has been me. This has been Faith. And why I was giving you this story, guys, is to see the story of my life has been a little long, pushing into this Chinese language. And from the time I decided that this is going to be the story of my life, I don't know up to when, God knows, but maybe at one point things will change. But since I started pursuing this language, I have been moving and keeping on going. And I just want to encourage somebody today that maybe your story, of course, won't be like mine. It might not necessarily be the same as mine, or even half of mine, or a quarter of mine. But if you decided to start learning Chinese language, you have to keep going. Because the little one that you have done, if you've done level 1, you cannot stop at level 1, because with level 1, it's a foundation. It's a foundation to kick you to another place. So you can't stop there, because if you stop there, then this will be too little. And you need to get to a place of proficiency and fluency. So now let's look at my 5 hacks. What has made me reach to where I am? Now, like I was just saying, I decided I'm not going to settle at one level. And I wanted to make this part of you. Decide you will not settle for one level. Keep going, guys. Keep going. Now, by the way, guys, you remember from last year, the Chinese levels have increased to level 9. So even if you are a level 6, for example, you have, and especially if you really want to continue in this language, you have to be in the lookout for level 7, level 8, level 9. What are the vocabulary there that are in 7, 8, and 9 that I don't know? I need to keep looking at this, and I need to keep going. So guys, if you stopped at 1, like Philo, Philo, you have to keep going depending on your goal. Because guys, again, every one of us have goals. Like if I'm a business person going to China, probably I don't need level 3, but I need at least level 2 so that I can speak with more fluency and more ground than I would when I'm a level 1. If I want to be a teacher, then I need to keep going. If I want to keep doing interpretation and translation, I have to keep going. And going is painful. Sometimes you feel, sometimes you feel I don't want this thing. What is this? But we have to keep on going. Now, my second hack is that I have learned that to understand Chinese, I have to read loudly. And this, I don't know, what can you say, Augustus? I can see other people. I can see Kathini Laoshu. Maybe you can also attest to all these. What do you think reading loudly matters in Chinese language, or is it okay to just read in your heart? Augustus.
I always tell my students, I'm not going to say here what language I come from. I'm not going to say what language I come from, what my mother tongue is. However, yes, my parents have spoken to me this language. So I will say my age. I am 20-something years old, obviously above 25, even as much as you see me. So let me say for more than 25 years, my parents have been speaking this language to me. And I can understand them very well. I can understand them and carry out their instructions. However, if you ask me to say 2 sentences in this language, I'm not able. I truly believe, like, if you want to speak, you have to speak with your mouth. You have to speak it out loud. Otherwise, you may even be able to, like me, the way I understand my mother tongue, you may be able to understand with your ears, but now unable to say. Now, Chinese is very different from the languages that we already know, or languages that we can speak. So I agree that if you want to gain fluency, if you want to your Koyu to really improve, you have to be reading your dialogues out loud. You have to be reading your books out loud. you have to keep on shadowing with people all the time. Yes. So I actually completely understand what you say.
Thank you so much, Augustus Lausche. This has been true about me. Anytime I pick a Chinese book, a Chinese newspaper, a Chinese storybook, a Chinese whatever, I never read. Like I can't actually even read aloud, like around so many people because I don't want to be a distraction. I want to read loudly. What I learned is when I was in China, there's one time, okay, at the beginning, so we leave our hostel very early and we are going to class. And then I see people under trees. And I'm thinking, could this be like the Christian Union in my high school? The Christian Union in my high school, we used to also go under trees to pray. So I thought, yeah, these Chinese are prayerful. They're under trees and they're praying this early. Really? And the way I know China, so I started to find out. I began the journey of finding what are they doing? Because of course they were holding books and at first, you're coming from Kenya, so you also have this culture thing of Kenya. I would also think probably those are Bibles or some form of recitation. I don't know even what I was thinking. Anyway, till I realized that the Chinese themselves would be under those trees reading. I mean, like somebody will pick a BCom book, Bachelor of Commerce, and then they're just reading loud. And they're just reading. And I don't know why they're just shouting. Then I came to realize with time, as I started this journey of Chinese language, that there's just something with Chinese. Maybe it's good to be honest and say there's some difficult aspect in this language that you can't just read silently and think that you're understanding. You need to verbalize it out. You need to let your mind know that you are speaking Chinese, that you are making Chinese enter that brain. And now, like for us Kenyans or foreigners who are learning Chinese, remember, you're starting to learn Chinese mostly when you have learned other like 3 languages. Like I have my vernacular, I have Kiswahili, and I have English, which I actually did up to the university. So these are the 3 languages that have taken a bigger part of my brain. So to squeeze Chinese there, I need to forcefully, and loudly make it enter there. So what I'm saying, guys, please borrow this from me. Read loudly. Pick your dialogues, the ones you get from class by the teachers. Read them loudly. Read your storybook loudly, and never forget to keep reading. Every week, try to see if you can do like 2 times reading. And that's to the list. Then another thing that is my hack is to listen and to imitate. Now, we call it shadowing. I can also call it imitation. So what I do personally, I'll take probably a YouTube clip of my favorite. I have some favorite teachers in YouTube. So I pick them and I literally imitate them. And why am I imitating them? I'm imitating them to get an accent, because I know that they are pure natives. They have pure Mandarin, because we know there are some Chinese who also don't have pure Mandarin. So they have pure Mandarin, and I want to imitate so I can speak like them. There's nothing wrong with this. Even in journalism, people are taught to imitate like BBC, BBC anchors who are really good, so that you can start getting the English proper accent. So this is what we are saying in Chinese, so that you can now, when you start speaking Chinese, people can hear, indeed she's speaking Chinese. She's not speaking Kiswahili in Chinese or English in Chinese or whatever language you speak. So that can come. You need to do a lot of listening, and then you need to imitate. Guys, never think you have reached. Even personally, I have purpose to never think that I'm the best teacher. Don't let that enter your head. Don't let it enter your head that you're the best Chinese speaker. Just know that every day you have to keep learning. You have to listen to many other best people, imitate them, and try to do this at least 3 times in a week, to the least. If you can 5 times, if you can 7 times, that's okay. Make YouTube your friend, but make sure you're very careful, because sometimes some YouTube clips may not have very standard Chinese. So maybe you would need the teacher to guide you, and can also guide you. Make sure you're choosing good songs that will help you. But guys, when you're doing this listening and imitation, make sure you're not in a YouTube clip that you are learning new vocabulary. I would prefer when you're doing listening and imitation, this is not your day of learning new vocabulary. There'll be a day of learning new vocabulary. So this is a day of imitating and seeing whether you are catching. Are you understanding what this person is saying? Then imitate, whether you know the word or not, whether you know that vocabulary or not. You will know it later. You will search your dictionary later. That's a time for listening and imitation. Imitate dialogues, imitate stories, imitate movies, etc., etc. So my last 2 hacks. Now, the 4th hack is you need to have a friend. And guys, I'm saying it doesn't have to be a native. It doesn't have to be a Chinese. It can also be a non-native like me. Make friends. Let us write SMSs in Chinese language. When I write you that SMS, you'll be like, what is she saying? So you are reading, and as you're reading, you might come across a vocabulary that you didn't know. Actually, this week, our Chinese language teacher, a native, she's called Esther. She wrote a certain message on one of our HSK level 3 WhatsApp groups. And I read it and I was like, there's something I didn't know. I actually didn't know that like 4-letter word. And I was like, oh my, we'll never stop learning. This is the humility that every other language learner should have, that and every other teacher, like also myself, should have, that another teacher can send me an SMS and I need to tell them, I didn't actually know this. I looked it up in the dictionary and now I know how to say this. Wow. So it is okay to have a non-native or a native, somebody whom you are speaking to. Make friends. And sure, even if you won't like literally meet, nowadays it's so easy to meet. We can meet online, like we are meeting right now. You can arrange for a 10 minutes talk with your friend on Zoom or a WhatsApp 10 minutes talk. Don't make it more. Guys, don't be so over ambitious like you're 30 minutes trying to talk. Just take 10 minutes, a relaxed 10 minutes of talking, either by SMS or a video conference thing or a video talk. Challenge one another or join a WhatsApp group that people are talking and get to know what are they saying. If you don't know the vocabulary, don't say, I don't know what they're saying. Or they've written in characters like, this one's they only write in characters. No, pick it up, put it in the dictionary and check what it means and learn the new vocabulary. These I have been doing till today. Now, the last hack, guys, this is a solemn one. This is an emotional one, but I do this and I encourage you to do this. Appreciate your journey. When the day comes and you feel like crying, cry. If you feel this Chinese is too much, cry. If you feel like laughing, laugh. If you fail an exam, by the way, I failed. I've also failed some HSK exams and I picked myself up again and continued to run. If you fail, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But next time, do your best to not fail. Rise and keep running. If you need to take a 1-week break, and I tell my students, I think like last year, I would tell my level 3 students, do you guys want a break? Do you feel this is too much? Let's take a 1-week break. No problem. Take it. Take a 1-week break. Inform your teacher that you want to take a 1-week break because this Chinese is driving me crazy. Take it. Then after that, you will see how refreshing it will be. Refresh yourself, rise up again, and continue. While learning every new language, and this is not only in Chinese, when you're learning every new language, sometimes it becomes intoxicating and you're trying to see, oh my God. And like you're thinking, who am I going to even talk to? Am I really going to achieve in this language? It becomes like, it makes you feel that way. It is okay to feel that way. Appreciate the miles you've taken. Appreciate the vocabulary you know. Cry, laugh, fail, rise, and keep running. And I hope, guys, you have understood my 5 hacks, because I know if you pick them up, you will be able to succeed in your Chinese language. But last, and it's not the least, I want to say xie for joining me today in our YouTube live to just learn from me and we've been teaching, and we've not been telling you how do we do this. And therefore we decided today that we are going to just tell you how to keep hacking it in this language. So welcome to Discovery Chinese Cultural Center. This is a home of connecting world cultures. We have so many nationalities in Discovery Chinese. Join us, join us. It doesn't matter which nationality or tribe from Kenya you come from. We are a home that connects with everybody. Learn Chinese language and you will not be disappointed. So now over to you, Augustus Lauscher.
Oh my, I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Faith. You have always been such an encouragement to me. I know, anyway, you remember how I came. One day I will also give you guys my heart. Or at least a story of my journey.
Yes,
now,
please
have
do.
I hustled like Miss Faith? No. I have been more blessed than she was. However, all of us have a story. Every one of us has a story. And I would wish for us to be having more like this, where people come and talk and blah, 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 so that you know that wherever you are, if you're planning to start, you're not alone. If you are in the journey, if you have a certain goal, for you to know that there are very many people and there are very many people who can help you and many people who have done it and many people who also want to do it just like you. And when Miss Faith says that she started learning in 2008, what? I was like, what? 2008? Are you sure? In this
You thought
Kenya?
I started learning when? When did you think I started
honestly,
learning?
if you'd have told me something like maybe 2012, 2014, 20, now, seriously.
2012, I was already married.
I never even thought, when I started learning, I never thought that there were people in Kenya who speak it. I never thought that they were there at all.
And by the way, the guy who taught me, who was Mr. Otieno, he had learned Chinese before me. He had learned from Beijing and he had come back. So he had also learned even before me, you see.
Oh my, never imagined. The only Chinese that I knew was from the Chinese movies that I used to watch, the Kung Fu. All that means the Chinese me I knew. And let me tell you, it is the reason why I started learning. It is the reason why I started learning, because I wanted to be like Jack Chan. That's what I wanted. But that is a story for another day. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much. You guys have heard from our director, Miss Faith. You guys are welcomed to study anytime here at Discovery. Please get our information from any of our videos in the description box. You guys are welcome to come to the center and make any inquiries you need. 2020 Meanza, you have made all the resolutions. Don't let this, look, January is even about to end. January is even about to end. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Come to the center. Let's get these things ready and start your journey. In fact, let this be your goal. December ikifika, enda ungarie watu uko, hata kama ni Ushagor, wherever. Kwenye utaenda, enda ungarie watu ukiongea fluently. Yes, so welcome again. I'll see you guys next week as well for another YouTube live. We shall prepare again something nice for you. Remember, if you have anything that you would like to study, you can always send us a message. You can send us an email. You can comment in the comment section, and we will create content to pass the same. Otherwise, I think we're sure and la. I don't know if Miss Faith, you have anything else to say?
No, I actually don't have anything else to say, just to say 再见, and thank you so much to everybody who had joined us today, those on YouTube Live, as well as our students here, Samantha, Philo, McKenna, and our teacher, Miss Kathini, Miss Trufena, Annette, Sally, Sheshe Dadia. Thank you for making our day. Today we were not learning much, so that's why we were not engaging you so much. But today we wanted to share with you the hacks that will help you become better in your Chinese language. Guys, 再见 until next Friday. 再见.
再见，再见，再见，
谢谢。
大家。